We got ourselves a good old-fashioned source-off. Where's Jim Harbaugh? Still in L.A.? Is he in Ann Arbor taking meetings? We will tell you what's going on in day 10 of this Harbaugh NFL saga. It's the Michigan Football Report. Let's go! So much to talk about in today's show, but I want to start off asking you guys, what year did you become a Michigan football fan? I just like knowing about what people's experiences are. What led to you to be a fan? What led to this 2023 season coming together with the best fan base in football? And if you're watching the show, you're part of the best fan base of any show on YouTube. So let me know what year you became a Michigan football fan. I've always pegged mine as 1991. It's the first time I can remember games. I remember watching the Heisman Trophy ceremony and all of that. Now, Jim Harbaugh, NFL Watch, this is day 10. We call it day 1, the Monday, last Monday, 2 days after the Michigan parade and ceremony and everything like that, where Warde Manuel told everybody that he's working on getting a contract for Jim Harbaugh. And after 3 straight Big Ten championships, Ohio State game wins, and a national championship, the fact that it had gone 5 days after the national championship game, and he had to make that statement, kind of shows a little bit of a malpractice for Warde Manuel. So we're going to talk all about that. End of the show. If you live in the state of Texas or Dallas, I might have saw you yesterday. We got some Michigan Football Report viewers, some MFers in Dallas. I'll tell you guys about that at the end of the show. Jim Harbaugh has canceled, or the Falcons have canceled. I don't know who canceled at this point. News is coming in from every little direction. Jordan Schultz from Bleacher Report basically says, and now it's been confirmed by others, that the Harbaugh interview with the Falcons that was apparently slated for today, we told you yesterday that he's got a second interview, has been canceled, could be rescheduled, potentially is what the speculation has been from there. But as of now, that interview is canceled. Now, why would that be? Why would that be? It could mean that maybe the Falcons are about to hire Bill Belichick. Could mean that Jim Harbaugh has decided on the NFL team he's going to go be their head coach for, or he's done with this, it's over, he's coming back to Michigan, or hey, he couldn't get a flight last night to Atlanta. Whatever it is, reports, and now that we have confirmed that Harbaugh was in the facilities for over 12 hours yesterday, and I even heard maybe it might have been up to 15 hours or so. They were going through everything. It was an interview structure to let's put everything out on the table. What will a program and a franchise look like with Jim Harbaugh basically being the face of it, running the show? How does he interact with these GM candidates that they're still trying to hire? Which are his preferences? What would his staff look like? What would his philosophy look like? Media relations, everything. Playbook, offensive philosophy, who he might be at OCDC. The whole kit and caboodle. Some people said, hey, they probably went out to dinner afterwards, although we didn't get confirmation on that. That seems like it's pretty intense, and I would expect that. Like when these stories, this started coming out yesterday, I'm like, is that surprising? Like if he showed up at 9 o'clock in the morning, I would expect him to be there at 9 o'clock at night. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar franchise in Los Angeles and trying to make a commitment to maybe up to $100 million to Jim Harbaugh. Now, the blog boys are coming out with stories all afternoon. They've got some egg on their face because early this afternoon, multiple of the pay sites, you guys know what I'm talking about, On3, 24/7 Sports, The Athletic, Rivals.com, reporting that Harbaugh had left LA and he was back in Ann Arbor, and the now edited articles, right? They've edited out, acting like nobody saw that their sources, they said they talked to people specifically who were meeting with Jim Harbaugh today, Wednesday, in Schembechler Hall. The sources also claim that Harbaugh and Michigan were working on the biggest contract in college football history, and that's why Jim Harbaugh came back to Ann Arbor. It didn't work, didn't have an offer on the table with the Chargers back in Ann Arbor, and that's what they said. Some little, I've seen all the info that they put out. I don't have these sources. If they're correct, good on them. But what they say, just to keep you guys in the loop, is that basically the clause that Harbaugh can't be fired for cause for anything to do related to Connor Stallions, as long as he's truthful about what he's told him, and that if they were to fire him for something else in the future for cause, he would still get 1 full year salary. Also, that his contract would make him the highest paid coach in college football, and it would have an escalator clause. So basically, if anybody gets a bigger contract on an annual basis, Jim Harbaugh would just make $1 more wherever someone goes, as long as he is Michigan's head football coach. Make sure you guys are watching the channel. You like our show, like our content, like me, like Michigan, whatever. Give us a subscribe on the channel here on YouTube as we're approaching 32,000 subscribers. If you decide later you don't like, go ahead and unsubscribe. That's fine, but help us grow while we've got all kinds of things to talk about with Jim Harbaugh. and potentially beyond with what happens if he were to go to the NFL. So what is really happening? Okay, what is really going on? Is Harbaugh actually still in LA like the blog boys were telling you and then they edited? Or is it the national media who's actually got the real scoop on Jim Harbaugh? I will tell you about that in just one second, but I did need to tell you about Prize Picks, our sponsor. We've been with them all season long. I love Prize Picks, the easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. You just pick more or less on player stats, so up to 25 times your money. This weekend on Prize Picks, I have got a twofer play for you guys. I've got Justin Tucker, okay, with the Baltimore Ravens, Jim Harbaugh's brother. I'm going more, right? All you got to do, more or less, on 1.5 field goals. How about Travis Kelce, right? With the Kansas City Chiefs, Taylor Swift might be in the crowd there in Baltimore. I'm just going more than 64.5 receiving yards. That's how easy it is to do. I make those picks, decide how much I want to put on that, $5, $10, whatever it is. And that's why I love Prize Picks. It's super easy to use. I can launch the app in make my picks in under 60 seconds. Free to download. You get a $100 deposit match up to $100 when you use code CLNS. It's very important. I want to make sure you guys get your deposit bonus. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. I'm going to put that link down in the comments and the description. So you go down there, click it, get the app, use the code when you make your first deposit. It's just a more or less game, right? Let's see. J.J. McCarthy, 212 passing yards, more or less. It's very simple like that. Get going with NFL Conference Championships games this weekend. I love Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. You just pick up to 2 up to 6 different predictions, more or less, on player stats. That's how easy it is with Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. I am not a big daily fantasy player, but Prize Picks has changed the game for me this football season. Anthony Broom. I don't know who Anthony Broom is, but apparently he works for On3 and used to work for Maize and Brew SB Nation. Finally got a full-time job with On3, according to my limited research this afternoon when I saw this. So he is quote tweeting here. He works for On3, which is the it's called the Wolverine on the On3 network. Was rivals for like 20 years prior to going over there to On3 as they started. He quote tweeted the Wolverine On3's tweet that basically said, "Breaking news, Harbaugh is getting the biggest contract extension with Michigan in college football history. They're working out all the fine details." And he quote tweets and says, "Pretty significant change in the winds this morning with Jim Harbaugh back in Ann Arbor today." Now, the author of that article, Chris Bayless's column called Inside the Fort. I don't know what Inside the Fort means. I guess Michigan's the fort. On3 around 1:45 p.m. Eastern time today. Now, this has been edited, right? But we're lucky enough to have someone DM us a screenshot. In the article, it says, Harbaugh has returned to Ann Arbor with no deal with the Chargers. He has meetings planned at Schembechler Hall all day today regarding NIL, recruiting, and Michigan's spring trip. He even put in that article, even better, he even told you where they were going to go. Funny enough, it's like, this is the thing, Jack, you can always say this. The spring trip was going to be where? To Israel. But because of what's going on there, it's probably not going to happen. That's just like saying, oh, yeah, we're going to take the spring trip to what's the place that just had a crazy war or natural disaster. Probably not going to happen anymore. So you can claim like you're the source, but, of course, the war, Gaza Strip. We all know about that. So where is Jim Harbaugh? We're going to find out in a second. I'll tell you what the real story is, but make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. Asked you guys yesterday, 15 people. I'll follow back the next 15. I had more than 20, so I ended up following a little more than 15. I'll tell you about those folks. If you followed me, give you a shout out here in just a moment. So the blog boys, you got Chris Ballas of On3, Josh Heineken from Rivals. I don't think that's actually his name, but I feel like his name is so dumb, I just call him Heineken Jack. They're parroting the exact same story around 1:45, 2 o'clock Eastern this afternoon, almost to the word. It's like the same person texting the same thing, wanting the same message out there. Just think about things. When you see something on TV with just the newspaper, maybe it's about your industry that you work in, and you're like, this is just patently false, or this doesn't make any sense. It's because people like these guys, they want they want access. They're super fans. They want to get an interview with Donovan Edwards, so they put out anything that they are told by whoever gives them, a scoop other times. Like, I need you to publish this to, serve whatever agenda that they have. These three guys were also talking about Heineken and Ballas and Sam Webb. Same exact story, same exact time about Harbaugh, biggest contract in college football history. So you guys can figure that out. You're smart enough to know what's going on there. But how about somebody who actually knows what they're talking about? Dianna Russini, sup, Jack, sup. You know what? I'm gonna have to edit the thumbnail because we were gonna put. Remember, yeah, Russini. If you see the thumbnail, Russini is a big part of the story, so she's on there. That's the only reason she's on there. Nothing to do with appearance or anything. Well, around 2 o'clock Eastern, 15 minutes after Ballas' article, Jim Harbaugh is still in Los Angeles after a long day of meetings yesterday. Okay, he could still be meeting with the Falcons at some point this week if he decides to take the trip. Michigan is in wait-and-see mode. Huh. Really, Chris Ballas? He's in Ann Arbor taking meetings? You sure? I don't think so. And then ever after that, everybody, from the national side, Russini and NFL Network and our guy Jordan Schultz here at Bleacher Report. Harbaugh still in LA, a source said. We're going to talk more about that, what it means. I think it's actually very significant what it means here in a second. But do you guys subscribe to these sites, right? These $10 a month sites, or The Athletic, it's like $9 a month, but basically they'll give you a deal, $1 for a year as long as you sign up and don't forget to cancel. But let me know if you guys do. Type Y for yes or N for no. If you type Y, let me know which ones, and hell, let me know why you spend your good, hard-earned money to read sometimes patently false news. Here's what I'm thinking, though. If Harbaugh is still in LA, which it seems to me almost like a certainty that he is, I don't think that Dianna Russini is going to put out that unless she is an absolute, fact source behind it. And he's canceling the Falcons interview. He's not back in LA, but maybe the source they had, maybe they had half the story, right? The blog boys, that he's got meetings today with people from Michigan. Let's connect some dots here. What all does it mean? That's coming up next. Let's give some shout outs to my new followers, 15 new followers. I'll put a link to these all down in the description, all these accounts here. So if you guys want to follow, get part of the Michigan Follow Back Gang, Michigan Football Report. We got Jeff Scott 50, Marsha Windsor Bah, Meech Spicer, A6 Johnso, and Cheryl Guanera, who is the mother of 2024 offensive line signee Jake. They are from Ponte Verde Beach, Florida. So welcome, Cheryl. Welcome, Cheryl, to the Michigan Football Report. Thank you for following. More followers here on the show from yesterday. HazVike96, Alan Arkissi, I guess that's how you pronounce it, Michael _Clement, Seth __ Goldman, and then Tim Patton 38. We said 15 followers, folks. How about 20? Had 20 followers get at me in a short period of time. So say, okay, I'll bump it up to 20, get all these people in. AW Barnes 17, Adam Giancola, Skin to Win 98, Coach Boyer 21. What up, Coach? S.Who, Masters Sakani, Quapilla, Big House Fan 3243, Q McAdams, and 8 Sleep, the sponsor of yesterday's show. 8 Sleep. Tagged him in a tweet. They'll be back in the fall, so they count here in the 20 people. When I saw the reports that he'd returned to Ann Arbor, right? People who follow me on Twitter, right? It's right there. Any news happens from anybody else, it's like clockwork. I get 3 DMs with people screenshotting or messaging me and saying, any truth to this, right? People have my cell phone number. Sometimes, Sell, any truth to this? What are you hearing about that? Okay, so I'm like, oh, wow, interesting. I hadn't heard that yet. Great. He's back in Ann Arbor. That's pretty interesting. Pretty optimistic about that. Having meetings, but NIL? Maybe this is just contract, big contract coming. Maybe we've been just thrown for a loop. Harbaugh's had a fake out the entire time to get what he wants from Michigan. But let's be real here, folks. If he spent 12 plus hours yesterday for a second interview, cancels his trip to Atlanta, okay? His wife went with him this time. She obviously was probably at the facility yesterday talking to people, learning about what they have to offer, probably doing a little house shopping, who knows. And he's still there. Let's connect the dots here. Let's not be, naive is probably the best word that I can have. If he's got meetings with Michigan football staffers today that are probably happening as we speak, as you watch this, we're coming up on 6 o'clock Eastern time, probably happened in the last couple hours, continue going on tonight. I would guess that it's either I'm still in LA and it's business as usual, act as if nothing happening and don't even mention it to these guys, or to me, what's more likely happening that is he's staying to finish a deal, and these Zoom meetings are just letting people know the news or giving them an update, right? I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't have a source on this. I just think sometimes things are so obvious right in front of your face that we look back and we're silly, like, oh, of course that's what he was doing it for. So maybe by the time you watch this video, we're within minutes or hours of the actual news happening that he's accepted a job with the Chargers. I think that's got to be the most likely outcome here, right? Unless he wants to go back, they're like, hey, we got to interview a couple more people. Can you stay till Thursday? We'll interview again Thursday. That could be the case, and then maybe something happens or not. But we'll see how this shakes out. Again, like I said a couple weeks ago, I would hate for Jim Harbaugh to, the next time we see him, to be on a podium accepting an NFL head coaching job. I would absolutely hate that. But maybe it's what he's got to do. Maybe if it's Sherrone Moore and the things stay consistent with the program, that Harbaugh could accept a job, do his press conference with the Chargers tomorrow if he takes it, and then fly instantly to Ann Arbor, has a 10 a.m. Pacific time press conference, fly back to Ann Arbor, 5-hour flight, and have an 8 p.m. press conference, something like that, in Ann Arbor, talk to the team in person, say his goodbyes to media, make a little press conference, welcome Sherrone Moore as a new coach, and then head back to Los Angeles. Now, if it's the Chargers or somebody else, would you cheer, right? Would you root for a Jim Harbaugh coach NFL team? Head coach of the Chargers next year, if this is how it happens, Chargers, Falcons, somebody else, will you root for them? If it's a yes, let's see the like video. I think we'll just kind of take normal likes, see what we get on top of that, and then comments, right? If no, you're Michigan only. If he's not a Wolverine, you're not rooting for him. Give me a go blue down in the comments. I'm going to like the video, Jack. I'm going to like the video. He brought a national title. Maybe this whole dalliance is a little annoying, but I am a yes. I'm liking the video. Keep it rolling here on the Michigan Football Report. Some things to talk about outside of Jim Harbaugh, right? What's happening after him if he is no longer the coach and goes to the NFL? Sherrone Moore. This is an internet rumor. This is Twitter. This is Reddit. This is message board acronyms, not real people. But I've seen it enough places and I've asked about it that, I don't know, might be some credibility behind it. Michigan's offensive coordinator, offensive line coach Sherrone Moore, quietly planning to be named head coach, as far as maybe even what he'd wear to the press conference, his accepting speech. But I think more importantly, putting together a short list for his staff, depending on who would stay, who would go, maybe a DC, offensive coordinator to replace him, backfilling a couple positions, some speculation that Mike Hart won't be with part of the program next year. He might go look for an offensive coordinator, even head coaching job in the next week or two. So that's just something to keep in mind for. And if that's the case, and he knows that Harbaugh is going to go, he's got inside track. I think that's pretty smart of Sherrone Moore to do so. ESPN put out their 2024 way too early preseason All-American team. 3 Wolverines first teamers. I actually thought Mason Graham, who was one of the next players up listed for the defensive line, should have been on there as well. But 3 first-team All-Americans from a team that lost, 17, 18 guys early to the NFL, and 20 total who were starters or high in the depth chart. That's pretty impressive. All true sophomores last year will be true juniors this coming year. Colston, Loveland, first-team All-American tight end. Mason Graham, first-team All-American defensive tackle. And then Will Johnson. And if Colston Loveland has a breakout season where he kind of gets those stats where he's 11 touchdowns and 700-800 yards, and he is his first-team All-American, I think there's a chance into the 2025 NFL Draft, Michigan could have as many as 3 top 10 picks, maybe even 2 top 5, 2 top 4, because I think Will Johnson and Mason Graham are setting themselves up to be top 3, 4, 5 picks in the NFL Draft. Colston Loveland, I don't necessarily think that high, maybe even top 10's too aggressive. But Will Johnson, how about him, right? Matt Miller from ESPN.com, who's not involved in this All-American team, but he put out his list of top returning NFL draft picks to watch for the 2024 season. Put a list of 10 players at each position, right? Guys that we know, obviously Mason Graham, Colston Loveland, and others. Will Johnson was the number 1 cornerback above, what's the guy's name from Colorado? Travis Hunter, right? Which I don't think that was controversial by any means, because Travis Hunter was injured and gave up a lot of yards to not that great of players. Will Johnson did not. But he hinted in his comments and replies there on his post, I don't think it was on Twitter, maybe a comment reply, whatever it was, that Johnson is in the driver's seat and is likely to be his number 1 player on his big board for the 2025 NFL Draft, one that he said he put out after this 2024 NFL Draft's out. So that's probably still about 3.5 months away, probably early May, right after the draft. But that's exciting stuff. Will Johnson coming back, leading a Michigan defense that certainly should be, I think, one of the top 10 defenses in America. Of course, that assuming that nobody leaves, should Jim Harbaugh take a job elsewhere. I want to shout out to the Lions fans at the Lake Highlands, Dallas neighborhood Kroger. Walk in yesterday, try to get some stuff, kids' lunch, ice cream. Wife texts me what she wants, and I get a Yoder, James Yoder. I'm like, oh, wait, who's that? Who's calling my name? And you never expected that. And the Lions fan decked out in Dallas, Texas, hat, shirt, I think even pants, etc. And we chopped it up for a quick 20 seconds. I was wearing, by the way, Jack, was wearing my hat, my fanatics.com. I use our link and everything to make sure I was getting the right deals. It came, and I got 4 or 5 things. One's still coming. But I was kind of disappointed with a couple things. So I just want to give you guys my quick product reviews. Normally I get the Jordan hat, but I thought this number 47 brand, it had a cool thing. But you see that it had the Michigan football helmet, which I thought was a better design for a hat. But it's got this thing right here. You see this? I don't know what the deal is. I've got to see some hats like this. It's got this crown here. Oops, sorry, right there. I don't like it at all. It fits so weird, so I'm returning it. And we showed this shirt on the show a week or two ago, right? Right after the national title game. This is one we showed, right? The t-shirt. Now, this one is Jordan brand. It's got the college football playoff, and I think because it's white, it looks really cool. I also got a blue one. I want to make sure I'm there. Let me just tell you this. It fits okay. It's kind of tight in the chest. Arms a little weird, but it is stupidly long. Look how long this thing is, right? It is 4 or 5 inches longer than this normal fitting t-shirt that I have that I wore into the office today. So the other ones on Fanatics, the other Jordan brand ones, the blue one says national championships, that one's fine. It's this white one. Is this too long? It looks like I'm wearing like a mini skirt out to a bar or something like that, like I'm a gal. So just a quick product reviews. So I'm going to exchange those, and I'm probably going to get either maybe a sweatshirt or something like that instead of this, because I've already got one t-shirt. I'm definitely going to get one of the Jordan brand hats, not this one with this little spike. Whoever's making hats, this thing right here, whatever it is, look at this. You see this? You see it's got this spike here, this crown, I guess, whatever it's called. It sucks. Quit doing it. It's terrible. I would never wear a hat like that in my life. It's the Michigan Football Report.